Hi, gorgeous. This is episode number 130.
Well, hello, this is Cloris Kylie, and you're listening to Hard Sales Podcast with Christine Schlonski. Enjoy.
Well, I am so super excited to have Cloris Kylie back on the show today, especially because September is dedicated to selling in your truth, to staying in your truth, to what successful people do, and successful people mingle with successful people, because you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And when you build those long-lasting influencer connections, these people can become your friends. So I'm so excited to have the #1 international best-selling author of Beyond Influencer Marketing, Cloris Kylie, on today, because she helps those service entrepreneurs to grow their business by building these long-lasting connections with influencers. And Cloris has been featured on top podcasts like Hard Sells, on YouTube channels, TV shows, and blogs. And it's really, really wonderful, the interesting insights she's going to share with us today. So stay tuned. Well, I am so excited to have Cloris back on the show, and we are going to dive in to the amazing topic that's going to change your business and your influence beyond influencer marketing. Welcome back.
Thank you, Christine. Awesome to be here again.
Yes. I love the story you shared for the last episode. We finished off with when I asked you what was the first thing you ever sold. And you said like this little stuffed witches. You sold a few and you kept the rest because you loved them so much. And I just thought it's such a wonderful question to really see how somebody starts their entrepreneurial journey, right? You wanted to share that what you really loved with others. Yes. And today you are the authority for influencer marketing, connected with amazing influencers all over the globe and teaching people how to do the same, how to be on other people's shows and blogs that help them to get heard, to get seen, to get their message to the masses, and not just to start or keep working in a tiny field where they don't have that influence. So I think by working with influencers, you can become an influencer yourself. Would you say so?
Oh, yes, definitely. Because yes, you gain that social proof, but also as you start spending time with influencers, you become empowered though to reach those higher levels, right? You see the possibilities for you. And then I think your beliefs about yourself really determine what your results are, right? You start behaving in ways that influence people in a positive way. You behave in ways that allow you to grow your business and create more impact. So you become an influencer yourself. And the more you are featured as an expert in your field, then you gain more influence, right? You become an influencer. And also something we didn't talk about is that you get to grow your own platform. Because, when I first had that online radio show, it was a live show on Blog Talk Radio. Yes, I had a really tiny audience, but I didn't have that much influence, right? I wasn't an influencer. But then when I started to bring the other guests, and I started to be a guest on other shows, and those people wanted to listen to my show, then I grew my audience. Then my platform became a more powerful way than to reach the ideal audience for other people. So now I get letters and emails from potential guests at least 2-3 times a week, people who are interested to be being on the show and who see me as Cloris as an influencer to connect with. So that's just an example how you can grow your own platform, which you should have. You should never let go and not have any content out there. And instead of connecting with influencers, I think it's all about finding the perfect mix. You should have content marketing be part of your marketing as well as the influencer marketing. And we're not going to say that ads don't work. They play a role, but you should not depend on them entirely to share your message and to grow your business.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what I also found is connecting with people who, well, I don't know if like-minded is the right word, but who do something that you admire, that you look up to, that you find valuable, it's another fun piece in your business than just crafting the perfect ad and
Yeah.
feeding Facebook money, even though it works. I think there's, it's about connection. And it's, for me, business is always creating the lifestyle you desire, having a business you love. With hard sells, I love connections.
Right.
That was also motivation to create the podcast, to deliver free value, to show people what's out there in the market and how can they take their business to the next level, feeling great about the sales process. So let me ask you, how does influencer marketing go together with selling better or more?
Well, I would say there are influencer marketing helps you sell just because you gain influence, right? You become an authority in your field. You're connected with ideal audiences who you want to have a chance to connect with if you just did ads, or just plain PR, right? You have somebody who introduces you to their audience. So just because of that, you already have that social proof to position your message. I think the more you're featured in front of people's audiences, you can refine your message, which is part of the sales process. So then you know exactly what the challenges you're trying to solve for your ideal audience are. You know exactly what messaging you have to have. You know how to say it in their words, what resonates with them the most, and what solutions you can create for them. So I think the more you're featured, the more you learn about your audience, and the better solutions you can create, so then you can sell better. So I think it just kind of all comes together for you to be able to deliver value to more people. And then at the same time, I want you to consider the whole process to connect with influencers as a sales process itself, right? Like we were talking about that a little bit offline, that, when you reach out to an influencer, you have to find the best messaging for them. You have to think about the objections they might have to connect with you and address those objections, right? So the sales mentality is always there when you're sharing your message in front of their audience, when you're connecting with them the first time, and then when you're reaching out to those ideal clients that have been introduced to you by the influencers.
Yeah, I love that. And the more you are connected, the easier it will be, because when you do a great job and you deliver the value, the influencer is most likely to recommend you not only to their tribe, but also to other influencers for certain projects or product launches or whatever you're working on, because they see that you come from that place of giving and serving, and then they are willing to support you.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I've been introduced to so many influencers by my first, circle of influencers that I created. And of course, when somebody introduces you, that's the easiest way to start a connection.
Yeah.
But don't feel like you have to have those connections to get started, though. As long as you have value to offer to those first influencers you really resonate with, you can do it. Like, for example, when I first published my article on Tiny Buddha, that first article, I had never had a guest post anywhere, okay, zero. All I was doing was writing my own articles. But I realized, this is exactly what they want to do or have on the blog. This is the needs of their audience. This is something they haven't covered before, but it's a topic that I think will be popular. So I really studied, okay, what can I do to really deliver tons of value to the readers? So I created the article, sent it to them. They accepted it. And from there, I didn't just let go and say, oh, that was nice. Okay, move on. I just started to create a relationship with the owner of the blog, Lori Deschen. So because we became friends, then later on, when I would send posts or articles that were not that good, she would get back to me and say, Cloris, this is nice, but it's really not perfect for the blog. Try to change the introduction, add another step, do this, do that. Like, she really took the time to actually coach me through the writing process so I could get my articles published. And if she hadn't cared about me, she would have never done that, right? But I took the time to really support her on the blog. So that's why I had so many articles published there, which made a huge difference. So, if it's just a matter of delivering that first piece of value. And once you're noticed, then you deliver more and more value until you see that the person really wants to help you, because it's natural, right? We all want to help those who help us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's so important. We all want to help those that help us. And that works in every direction, right? That's true for your clients. Once they love you and you help them, they will refer you. And the same where you help and they love you, they will refer you. So it's a wonderful cycle. And I think that's also the way that business can be done, and that, business should be done this way, not in, being the pushy, slimy salesperson, taking somebody's money and run, but really being genuine, being true to your values and connecting with those people that you support, right? Because I remember I tried to connect with one influencer where, I liked what they did, but somehow my gut feeling wasn't really aligned. So it was more like a strategic thing, and it totally didn't work out. And first I was upset, like, oh, I was rejected. But then I thought, well, Christine, you know what? You were not really totally honest. It was more strategic decision that you shouldn't have taken anyway. So good for the person to reject you, because they probably felt that it wasn't 100% aligned. So would you say that is really important, that you are in alignment?
Yes, and that you go into the relationship with the desire to help. I mean, I know it's natural and human that we want to get results and we want to get them fast, right? So we see an influencer, if they promote my book, if they promote my program, whatever, that'll change my business. So I'm just going to go and get that happen. And you go into the relationship with that mentality, and they will see right through it. I mean, the influencers are approached every day by people who just want to take advantage of them, really, and they can see it immediately. Even if you don't say it, like it just shows through your, the words that you choose, through your actions, people see it. So if instead you say, okay, I really resonate with this influencer, I'm going to just help them just because I want to, right? I want to help them grow their business. I want other people to learn about their message. And you start with that, then it's different. Then they see, oh, wow, this person really is a supporter. Like, for example, one of the influencers I first had on my show, she's probably the top LinkedIn expert in Canada, right? She was well known there, here in the US as well. So I love her blog. I still share her blog as often as I can. So every time she posted an article, I would be sharing it on social media, LinkedIn particularly, which is, her platform. And I would tag her. So she was like, oh, thank you, Cloris. Thank you, Cloris. Thank you, Cloris, every single week. So when I said, Melanie, would you like to be on my show? It didn't take more than 15 minutes, and I had a message back, yes, of course. And she told me that, I'm so busy, I don't give interviews anymore. But because it came from you, I just had to say yes. And I did it not because I wanted Melanie to be on my show. At the time, I just thought her articles were amazing. And I just wanted to connect with her and share her message with the world. So that's, if you remember, it's all about the mentality. It's the go-giver mentality, really. You had Bob Burg on your show. He's one of the people I admire the most because of that message, though. Be a go-giver. Give value first.
Yeah, that's what we both have in common. We both so admire Bob Burg for all his amazing work he does in the world. And he definitely has the book, The Go-Giver, together in co-creation with John David Mann. It's so easy to forget to give him credit as well, but
that's right.
Bob always makes sure that John is included in the mention. So I want to be really mindful of including both. That book really has changed how I saw sales. It made a huge difference in my life. And reaching out to Bob, I really had to put in the time and the effort to, reach out with the intention to connect and to let them know what the book has changed my life. Out of that connection, so many wonderful things evolved. And I think it's the same for you, that when you see Bob and his work, he is the go-giver, right?
Right.
Is that person. And bringing that message to the world is so important. So I love your message because it connects all these wonderful people. And I think like having that as an inspiration, even though people might think that they're listening, yeah, but who am I? Right? They have bestsellers. They have sold hundreds of thousands of copies of their books. They've been on stages with the biggest name. Like, who am I? I just want to point out that they started somewhere. They didn't start at the top, right? We all start at the bottom. So can you share some practical steps for people within the last minutes to help them with their business?
Yeah, well, the first thing I would say is don't do this as something that you do whenever you have time or whenever you think about it, right? Because then it becomes one of those things you never do, right? You know how it is. So you really have to support to expand your network and nurture your network as a deliberate effort. As it really has to be part of what you do as a business owner. Do you have to spend hours a day? Not really. I mean, right now I would say I spend probably a couple hours a week um, nurturing my network, expanding my network, supporting people. If I have a special project with somebody, I would spend more time. Let's say that I have an interview, then I spend more time, of course. A summit, a promotion, then you spend more time, but that's actually doing the work. But to really have that strong network, it doesn't take a lot of time, but you have to include it in your schedule. And of course, at the beginning, you have to create that network, right? Those first few influencers. So what I would do is definitely select the people who you would love to connect with. Doesn't have to be a huge group. Just select today. You can go and select 3 people. Just start with 3 people you truly admire. See how you can best deliver value to them. As I said, some of those ideas are in the guide that I'm sharing with you guys today. So select one of those or come up with your own idea and see what what results you get, what feedback. You continue stacking value on top of value and then track your progress. Because I'm not going to say that everybody you reach out to, everybody you support will then become a close connection. You might realize that in the end, you didn't have as much in common as you thought, right? Or they will actually not get back to you and not acknowledge you. It happens. It happens. There are people out there who just don't check their social media or email or nothing, and you will never hear from them, and it's okay. So that's the time for you to, okay, so well, it didn't work out, I move on, and then really focus on that small group of people who can really help me. You still have to follow up, though. It's common that I see people, oh yeah, I tried, I sent my article, I pitched my idea to the podcast. They never got back to me. This doesn't work, right? But you never took the time to follow up.
Yeah.
So you should always expect to follow up in different ways. Sometimes people don't hear from you in one way. Email doesn't work. Reach out to them via social media, then LinkedIn, Facebook messages. Send them a handwritten note. Is always follow up with people to make sure they're really hearing from you and getting your message. Many times people just don't see it, right? They're not aware of it. So you really have to make it a system, make it part of what you do every day in your business, and then just start small. Start with those 3 people, see how it goes, expand, and then you will have your top connections. What I have a list of people. It has grown now, so it's approaching 40 people right now. But that's it. Those are the people I support as much as I can. Every month I support them at least once. So I have the list printed in my bulletin board. Here I see the names every day. Okay, what's going on with Christine? What's going on with Bob? Check what is it that they have that I can support, and then I take action. It doesn't take much, but it takes deliberate action, and it takes, just to being part of what you do in your business. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so powerful. And, just when you scroll through social media, leaving a heart, or
Yeah.
a comment, or just acknowledging that you've seen that they published their next podcast episode, for example, and you let them know a takeaway or that you like what you liked about the episode. Just giving that feedback and kind of getting on the radar is so important. Because if you think like you would be the person, how would you feel if somebody acknowledges your work, right? Even though you might have thousands of these posts or comments, it's still, I don't think it gets old. It still feels good to know that whatever you do delivers value to so many people.
Of course, yeah. And you believe it or not, top influencers, even top influencers, don't get as many, heartfelt letters or emails as often as you think. You might think, oh, they get 100 a day. Not really. If you take the time to write that letter where you express to them how their message has changed your life, it might be something that they don't get often. Maybe they get an email or a text message, nice work, but they don't really, people don't take the time to really express exactly how it has changed your life. So if you really take the time, if you really care about the person, then you will see that they'll notice you, and of course they'll want to help you.
Yeah, I totally agree that, we take so much for granted because it's there, right? The books exist, the podcast, the shows, it's all there. But really taking the time to give a rating and a review, for example, for the wonderful Beyond Influencer Marketing podcast would be something that's really supportive and that makes you getting on the radar of Cloris and her wonderful influencer marketing guide, which gives you 15 proven ways to be noticed by influencers, is available at www.cloriskylie.com/hardsells. She created that especially for you as a listener. So thank you so much. Hop on over there and check it out. And yeah, also you find all to her social links on the show notes and the transcript. So you can read it, you can learn it, you can study it, you can highlight all the important golden nuggets that Cloris dropped today, because this will make a difference in your business. And then when your business goes well, obviously you have more choices in life. So thank you so much for having been here on Hard Sales Podcast. I really appreciate you sharing all your knowledge.
Well, thank you, Christine. It's a pleasure.
Well, I just loved these episodes with Cloris Kylie, and I know I say that every time I do an interview, but it is so, so true. You can really feel how my guests know their stuff, and I'm so excited because Cloris spent so much time in connecting and really going deep into influencer marketing, and this is such an important topic. And she shares her wonderful guide with us, Influencer Marketing Guide, with 15 proven ways to be noticed by influencers so that you start a relationship with them and grow your business. You can find that at cloriskylie.com/hardsells, or you just hop on over to christineschlonski.com, find the podcast tab and find the episode, and you have all the links to Cloris right there, the transcripts, the show notes, the 3 key points of this conversation. And thank you so, so much for tuning in. Once you are over at christineschlonski.com and you found the podcast tab, sign up for the empowerment notes. Get your empowerments and all the updates on Hard Sales Podcast into your inbox weekly. And whenever I have to share something amazing, there will be an extra empowerment note for you. But usually you get email from me about once a week. Have an amazing day wherever you are. And I'm saying bye for now.